authority in which the authority is not me, it doesn't feel true to me. And it actually feels somewhat harmful.
This is Hope Peddler dropping some truth bombs, as she tends to do. Normally her content is a little bit more political, at least in my experience, and I deeply appreciate that. But in this case, she's talking about spirituality, which is a little bit closer to home, closer to my content, which I appreciate in a different way. Even closer to home, she is answering a question that was posed to me recently about how one develops a spirituality that is grounded in no nonsense. And I was very pleased that her answer was very congruent with mine. And given that she has so many followers, this gave me hope, actually. So my video on the subject is called Grounded Spirituality. You can go check it out. Hope Peddler's video, which I'd highly recommend, is talking about a similar theme that I've touched upon, which is that any spirituality that is not grounded in direct experience should be questioned and might even be harmful. So I use the term spiritual authoritarianism to refer to any set of beliefs that are supposedly downloaded from some higher authority that cannot be questioned, should not be questioned, and cannot be verified. So this would apply to many of the truth claims of Christianity and the Abrahamic faiths more generally. And within the New Age, this would apply to things like gurus and practices like channeling, which is supposedly coming from some higher source, which again is not supposed to be questioned. So I believe that whether somebody is legitimately actually channeling some higher being, I believe that's actually irrelevant. What's more important is the dynamic that is being set up. And again, the dynamic is this one of you have to accept what I say is true because I'm telling you that I'm coming from some higher place than you. All of these kinds of claims of spiritual authority have to be taken on faith because there is no way to verify them. And taking anything on faith is something that I am fundamentally opposed to. In fact, I want to take the argument one giant step further and talk about how we may be moving into the age of Aquarius, whether or not that's true astrologically or maybe it's just a meaningful abstraction. But the age of Aquarius is associated with a more democratic and grassroots approach to things, whereas the age of Pisces is associated with kings and queens and emperors and rulers who dictated things from on high and externally. An obvious example of this more democratic, egalitarian approach to things is in science, a relatively recent human invention that has revolutionized our world very quickly, in which we rely on each other for consensus and affirmation of the things we experience through our senses, rather than relying on the authority of the church or some external figure to tell us what is true. So to underscore what I've talked about in other videos and what Hope Peddler is talking about in her video, I dearly hope that we are moving into an era in which there is a more democratic, egalitarian approach to things, including spirituality, that we rely on our own personal experience rather than the dictates of some external authority or somebody who places themselves above us.